Hey, how's it going, guys? This is Tom from UDS with another edition of the Quarantine Sessions, where I chat to people a lot cooler than myself in the wonderful land of lockdown. Now, my guest this week is one half of a musical duo who specialize in melancholic bops that'll take you from the danceability of mid-80s pop to punch the air, pound your chest emo anthems, all the way through to the heights of euphoric post-rock landscapes. Now, full disclosure, that's from their press release, but it sums it up pretty well and in much better language than I could ever think up. With their brand new EP dropping later this month, they're destined to go from strength to strength. It is my pleasure to introduce one half of arguably the most handsomest band performing today, Noah from Yardarms.
Hey man, pleasure.
The pleasure is all mine. How are you doing in these strange times that we live in?
I'm doing okay. I'm healthy, and that's the important thing. Just, there starts to be more of a light at the end of the tunnel now. We can see more things opening up, so there's a bit more positivity than there was maybe last month.
100%.
Yeah, I'm doing well.
Awesome. Good to hear. Good to hear. So for the unfortunate few that may not have heard of you before, in your own words, could you just quickly introduce yourself and Yardarms?
Yeah, man. My name's Noah. I sing and play guitar live. It's myself and Billy, the drummer. We write everything together, and then we have like a live outfit that makes us sound the way we do at shows. There's 4 of us live. What do? I've always told people I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. I think we just try and write music that we'd like to hear, and kind of grew up wanting to have a Yardarms in our life that sounded like this band. So we've got that, and it's alternative rock, it's pop, it's indie, it's whatever you want to label it. We don't get too hung up on kind of genrefying ourselves, especially because you can afford to be somewhere on a big continuum of genre in the streaming world. And I think artists have a lot more capacity to be accepted as, bands that maybe sound different from single to single on a certain spectrum. So we're kind of facing that as well. But we're an alternative rock band, man. And we sing about our feelings.
That's it. I mean, what else do you do in an indie rock band? But that's the thing. I think the more you pigeonhole yourself, the more limited you are. And I would say we'll get onto the EP a bit more in a minute, but I definitely think there is a very broad spectrum of influences and genres and themes and everything in there. So I would be remiss to sort of say that you are labeled as one genre, but I think that's definitely something I would say to your credit than anything else. So obviously, we're all friends here, and in the effort of just getting to know each other a little bit better, I have to ask the hard-hitting questions right at the top of the show, and that is, Noah, if you were a type of sandwich, what type of sandwich would you be?
Oh, that's good. The first thing that came to my head was BLT, which weirdly, I haven't eaten meat in months, so I don't know why I instantly thought BLT, but God. No. A grilled cheese, which to the listeners in the UK, cheese toasty. But mayo instead of butter on the sides of the bread, need that extra crisp. Just simple grilled cheese.
That's the thing. The grilled cheese is always the most fascinating choice because everyone's got their own little way of making it that makes it so unique. It's one of the most versatile sandwiches, and I think we should applaud it for it.
I agree. However, people shouldn't get too complicated with a grilled cheese. If you're going to be putting 5 cheeses and some apple and some weirdness in there, that's
great. It's a bit bougie at that point.
Cheese. Yeah.
A nice proletariat grilled cheese is the way to go. You heard it here first. Anyway, in more relevant news, I guess, your latest EP, Sanctuary Lines, is less than a month away. It's dropping June 26th, I want to say, if I've remembered my notes correctly. What can people expect from this release?
It's 4 tracks. It's our 3rd EP in kind of a year and a half. It's quite a reflective record. I think the last one was very bogged down on itself. This one feels a little more of like a deep like relief of breath. There's more of a summariness to the sound. I think it's our best songwriting offering to date and production. Yeah, there's all sorts. I think you touched on it at the start on the press release. You can go from some dancey kind of 80s in excess Cheers for Fears vibes all the way through to like trying to finish somewhere on the scopes of Explosions in the Sky and then This Will Destroy You. So I think it's a very encompassing record of all of our influences over the past like 12 years.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, as we were saying off the air, I've just recently got around to finishing the entire EP, and it definitely feels like there's a definitive arc in the way the songs sort of lead on, and it ends with this massive crescendo of an ending. I really do not know the technical terms of music, so that's about as best as I can articulate it. But was this a conscious decision to sort of lay these tracks out in this sort of thematic journey?
Yeah, for sure. I think all of our records they are structured the way they are because of there's something linking them, whether it be lyrical themes or kind of the sounds. I think once people hear this one, it would seem weird to have what we have as track 4 as track 1. Absolutely. It seems to move in a way that if you like track 1, you're going to listen to track 2, and then you're going to want to listen to how it develops. So it felt like, although a lot of people aren't listening to EPs and albums like they used to, it felt like we were creating it in the right way that people could listen to it rather than just singles, although it does work as just singles.
100%.
But lyrically also, I think it kind of opens with a kind of questioning of things, which then develops into it's a dynamic flow of I'm questioning a lot like the way our brains work, questioning things into accepting things into questioning things again. I don't feel great about it, to kind of anger and guilt, and then like at the end there is this kind of relief of like acceptance, and the biggest reflection on the record, I think.
Absolutely. So how did you find the recording process with this EP?
So we've recorded everything in Yardarms so far with a guy called Josh Gallup. He plays guitar in a band called Foxjaw, signed to Hassel Records. Fantastic band, check them out if you don't know. As soon as we got into the studio with him from day dot, it was just like an experience we'd never had before. It didn't even feel like we were recording. It was just like 3 guys hanging out, and there was some music getting made, and it was the most laid back thing. There was never any red light fever. It was a very supportive atmosphere, very healthy and human kind of experience, and it made this feel extremely organic every time. So first record, we felt like that. It just got easier as we went on. So jumping in on the third one, it was just like, yeah, hanging out. Oh yeah, here's some songs we're going to record. Easy as pie. And Josh knows when to get involved, when to not get involved, when to offer up help, or sometimes it'll be a case of we don't need to say anything. It's like, before I can even finish my sentence, can you do? And he would have done it by then. So we've got a great connection in terms of recording with him, and which is nice. You can kind of build up your relationship as you go. So this is another reason why it felt like such a strong offering from us.
Absolutely. That's exactly what you want. It's interesting. Like, obviously, you hear the sort of the cliches and sort of the rhetoric of like the best art is made in sort of conflict or in times of turmoil, but I disagree. I think if you don't have sort of that simpatico relationship, that's what's key to it. And I've never sort of subscribed to the idea that you need to sort of bash your head over the wall to make the best art. And yeah, I definitely think it shines through. I've been sort of listening to your discography, and I think that this definitely feels like the most sort of holistic, as you say, sort of natural record. Everything just seems to click, and it's interesting, as you say, that reflects the process of recording as well.
Yeah.
So where am I in my list? There we go. We'll cut that bit out. So a lot of the themes in the EP are pretty relevant to the current pandemic lifestyle. I mean, the title "Sanctuary Lines" alone sort of, embodies the sort of a lot of the themes we're living through. Have you had people asking you for the lottery numbers since then, sort of with the soothsaying abilities of your writing style?
Maybe more so when this record does come out in full. I think it's totally bizarre. None of us ever could have predicted. Like, they all have their meanings to me, or different meanings to Billy, or different meanings to the people who have heard these tracks so far. But Christ, on like a wide perspective of these tunes, it is interesting, to
It's
say the least.
spooky.
Yeah, yeah, but I didn't want to use it as a crutch for promotion, so I did
Mm.
want people to know that it's not like we write an isolation record and then we put it out. Like, this was all done, a couple months before, or a month before we had to close our doors. So it's just an absolute coincidence. But it's kind of, I like the fact that it's a little kind of memory to annotate this time in history for
Yeah,
ourselves.
it's almost like an inadvertent time capsule,
Yeah,
sonically.
thank you. That's much better put than I was incapable of saying.
I have one per episode of this where I'm actually like, I'm pretty smart, and then the rest of the episode just proves that completely wrong. But I'd say if you're going for the whole marketing angle of this, don't lean into you wrote an isolation album. Lean into the fact that you're like this generation's Nostradamus, and that you can just predict the future at whim. I think that's definitely the angle that's going to sell. I have
Yeah,
no idea where I'm going with this.
no, that's much better. Feel free to tell as many people that's yeah, man. I've heard this band, and they can tell the future through their songs.
Yeah,
Pretty
listen to
bad.
them. They'll tell you what you're going to do tomorrow. Anyway, so here at UDS, we don't just talk about music. We talk about the breadth of pop culture, movies, video games, comic books, everything and more. So with that in mind, if you could have a Yardarms song featured in anything at all, what would it be?
Ooh. Okay, can I have like multiple? Not
Go
loads
for
of
it.
answers. Yeah.
Whatever you want.
Weirdly, Billy and I met when we were like 12 playing football. We were huge into football as kids. And weirdly, like on our bucket list of your classics like Glastonbury and Jules Holland, it includes being on the FIFA soundtrack.
Absolutely.
So that's one that comes to mind. Other than that, I've got a huge passion for a lot of kind of indie films. Just, I think part of my brain writes songs for rom-com indie Netflix originals, you know what I mean? So kind of anything in that realm. Yeah.
It's weird how you mention FIFA, because those soundtracks, they become such staples of nostalgia that you hear one of the songs off the soundtrack and you instantly remember everything that happened that year. It's insane.
Yep, FIFA 02.
Yep.
FIFA 04 every time. Yeah.
That's it. And it's sort of a blessing and a curse, because obviously you're going to have that massive exposure to be on that soundtrack. But at least for me, in sort of the way I think of it, I can't help but think that song's a FIFA song. After that, it's just one of those songs that is on the FIFA soundtrack.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, no, I've definitely I've got a lot of fond memories. I think I might have a few Spotify playlists saved of just I think I've got one of Tony Hawk's soundtracks and one of FIFA soundtracks, just for the memes.
Yeah, man, that's exciting that the Tony Hawk stuff's getting re-released as well.
100%. Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping they add a few extra tracks of some new up and coming bands to go with all of the nostalgic bangers, because it'd be good. Because I've been saying this to a lot of people. Those games shaped my music taste completely.
Oh, absolutely.
And the generations, I would say. And so it'd be great for like another generation of bands to sort of get the same rub that the ones from the sort of the late 90s, early 2000s got.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Absolutely. So here's a segment that I like to do. It's plagiarized and it normally doesn't go down very well, but I'm going to do it anyway, so you'll have to bear with me. It's called Desert Island Discs, but I'm not going to do the whole shebang. We'll just do like a condensed version. But the premise is you're on a desert island, quarantined from the rest of the world, which obviously seems pretty apt at the moment. You can take one album, one movie, and one luxury item with you. What would they be?
Music for Airports, Brian Eno. That's my album. I can have that on repeat, like for a whole day, just on in the house, and like I just like to exist in that music and just pretend I'm in a film. Yeah, that's my romantic notion.
There you go.
What was the second one?
Movie and luxury item.
Movie. I'm gonna go Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Classic.
I think again that could just be on repeat on the telly, right? Like in my house. Maybe I could have those on at the same time. And then luxury item. Are we counting a guitar? Is that luxury?
You can have a guitar, yeah, if you want that as a luxury item. That's the popular choice. It
is a bit cliche. I think I can be better.
I mean, you could mix it up and do a guitar with unbreakable strings. That's pretty luxurious.
That is. I'm getting way too hung up on this. Yeah. We're gonna have a guitar.
Okay, just a guitar. I mean, that's all you need. Eternal Sunshine, bit of Brian Eno, guitar. That's a chill desert island sunset. That's all you need. That's all you need.
Yeah, man.
So here at UDS, we like to advocate positivity, particularly in times like this as well. And one of the ways we do that is through inspirational quotes. And one of my favorites is, "I can't believe I ate the whole thing," because it works with anything in life, whether it be food related or otherwise. Don't question it. But with that in mind, what would be your inspirational quote to share with the world?
In the words of Pink, "I'm coming up, so you better get this party started."
Words to live by. Words to live by. I cannot fault that. I cannot fault that. So speaking of coming up and getting the party started, none of us can really plan for what's happening for the rest of the year. But as best as you can, what does the rest of 2020 have in store for Yardarms?
Yeah, it's not easy to say with certainty what it looks like. We were meant to be on tour this month and next month. I've had to reschedule all that. So we do have something rescheduled for later in the year. I can't confirm if that actually is going to happen, so we will see. Otherwise, I think it's just going to be a lot more writing and recording, because that's kind of all. It's the best use of our time.
Absolutely. So you can do.
Yeah, just get behind promoting this record, but also we just want to get on with the next thing.
That's it. It's a lot of waiting around, but I keep thinking how many there's probably next year and the year after there's going to be an absolute boom of loads of artists releasing music, just because there's nothing else to do but write at the moment. So I reckon there could be quite the groundswell of great music in a little while, which is something to look forward to, if nothing else.
I think so. I just don't want it to be a million songs about being locked in a house. Like, I know it's going against what I've just written, but that's
you beat the curve. Yeah. You did it before it was cool.
Yeah, I'm the lockdown hipster.
That's it. The true Bristolian in you is coming out. Anyway, the last question we always end with is, we are UDS, or Upside Down Shark. Don't ask me why. It's just a name that we thought up, and we're in too deep to change it now. But with that in mind, Noah, what would be your favorite shark? And it can be real, it can be fictional, something from a movie, something from nature. But what would be your favorite shark?
Who's the one in Nemo? Which shark
Bruce.
Is that? Yeah, I'm going to go Bruce.
Voiced by the immortal Dame Edna Everage.
Yeah, I was going to ask, do you know who voices? There we go. Some good shark knowledge. I can see why it's called Upside Down Shark. I was just doing the dishes before this, the real rock star talk. And has anybody ever sung Baby Shark, but to the tune of Upside Down Shark? Because I couldn't stop singing that.
They haven't. And I don't know if I want that to be a thing or not, but...
Upside down shark, do. Upside down shark, do. There you go.
There you go. That's a first, and that's going right at the start of this episode. And you say I know a lot about sharks. I think I just know a lot about Dame Edna Everage. It's the only royalty I recognise.
Okay, well,
maybe a bit of both. Anyway, that's pretty much all I've got. So all I've got left to say really is, where can people find you online?
Everything /Yardarms music.
That's it. Nice and easy. We'll put a link to everything in the description below as well to make it even easier. But Noah, thank you so much for your time. It has been an absolute pleasure chatting to you today.
My pleasure too. Thanks for having me, man.
No worries, no worries. And anyone listening at home, make sure to pick up Sanctuary Lines out June 26th. As I said, we'll put a link to everything you need to know in the description below. Hit subscribe for more interviews with more creative folk from around the world, and we shall catch you next time.